You know, after a difficult few weeks for some of Madison's biggest summer events, thousands of people will be making their way into the city this weekend.
Several events were canceled, postponed, or disrupted after the police shooting of Corey Ruiz and the protests that followed.
That's right. However, though, organizers behind two longtime Madison traditions say they're ready to welcome people back.
Our Shayna Najawan joins us live in studio tonight with how they're moving it forward. Shayna.
Both say they've been keeping a close eye on everything happening in the city and that safety has been a big part of the conversation leading into tomorrow. At the same time, they say they're ready to move forward with events they've spent nearly a year preparing for and the people they bring to Madison.
We've had people fly in from out of country to get tickets for ticket sale day, which happens the first Saturday in May.
And Great Taste Chair Doug Randall says they come back again for the main event. Saturday marks the 39th Great Taste of the Midwest, bringing roughly 10,500 people and nearly 200 breweries to Madison's Olin Park.
My predecessors scoured through 30 years of farmers' almanacs and weather data before we landed on the second Saturday in August.
Across town, Race Day Events President Ryan Griesmeyer is getting ready for another tradition, now in its 18th year. After nearly a year of preparation, the Madison Mini Marathon returns Saturday, with participation at its highest level since the pandemic.
We're at a time where the community needs to be brought together for a great cause, and realistically, these events are a great way to do that.
But organizers of both events say they couldn't ignore what Madison has experienced in the weeks since the police shooting of Corey Ruiz.
We were definitely talking to city government and keeping our finger on the pulse. Our hearts go out to those that have been affected by that tragedy. We're also here to support craft beer and the small businesses that those are, and the small businesses that the food trucks are as well.
For the mini marathon, safety has been part of that preparation too. And with race day just hours away, he says they've planned for the unexpected.
We'll deal with what happens. We have contingency plans in place. We will keep everybody safe. We work with the great community in Madison, from the police officers to the city. You know, we'll do a good job with this and we'll adapt as we need to.
And there's plenty happening at both events tomorrow. The mini marathon includes the half marathon, a 5K, and a kids race, followed by a post-race party at Memorial Union Terrace. And at Great Taste, ticket holders can sample from nearly 200 breweries with cider, mead, non-alcoholic, and gluten-free options in the mix too. Live in studio, Shayna Najawan, WMTV 15 News.
Shayna, thank you. The mini marathon gets underway at 7 tomorrow morning with Great Taste following from 1 to 6 tomorrow afternoon.